Okay, hey, it's Tina and Tim again, and today we're going to talk about how to fill out a financial disclosure affidavit. It's one of the mandatory things you have to file when you go to family court and you have a child support action. Disregard the dogs barking because somehow they think they're guard dogs and they're about this little. Ready, Tim? We're going to try to do a screen share today, showing you where to find it and what you need to do and potentially beat some dogs up. So here's the financial disclosure affidavit. The courts usually give you one of them. Look at the top. I'm going to do a little bit of annotation so you can see. I'm going to move this. I'm going to spend just a little bit of time. So financial form disclosure affidavit. See that form number at the top, form 4-17. You can find that at the Unified Court Systems website under forms, or you can ask the court to provide it. So docket number, you put in whatever proceeding the court has assigned it to. If you haven't received a docket and this is your brand new petition, leave this blank. Just make sure you fill it out before you file a petition for support. Right, Tim?
Correct.
So hopefully when we're looking at this video later on today. So county, easy. It's where the child resides.
Not where you reside.
Right. Petitioner. If you filed the petition, that's who you are. Write the name there, okay? If you are the other side who received a petition, you are the respondent, okay? Okay, see this current and representative pay stubs, can't even talk. Your most recently filed federal and state tax returns in the forms, W-2 statements. W-2 statements means, it does not mean the summary provided on your tax return. They're asking for what you received from your employer that created this. So
and you will have copies of that if you had your taxes prepared. The W-2s are connected to your taxes, the whole form.
So the court's not going to believe it that you don't have it. It exists. Get it from your employer. Also, if you have health insurance, get that from your employer. The employer always will provide a printout of the costs, single, family, single plus one. That includes medical, dental, vision, and any other benefits, okay?
Correct. Any other add-ons that come with your health insurance as well need to be listed in there.
Okay, so these are documents, get them, they are mandatory. It is not optional, all right? Have that in advance. The next part, this is county of, same place where you live, where you're gonna get it notarized. Again, I means put your name here. Residing at, that is your address. And remember, this document is actually a deposition, AKA you are going to swear to the contents of it. So do not lie when you're filling out this, because attorneys are not stupid, nor is the court. So if you falsify information on here, it will be found out later, whether you like it or not. Okay. So
don't say that you're not earning income from any other source, and then we find out there were 4 other sources of earned income.
Right. So the other thing is wages and salary, employer and address. If you're self-employed, write self-employed, but you most likely have a name that you call yourself. Hours per week. Self-explanatory. How do you get paid? Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, blah, 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 right? If you don't know where to find this information, it's right on a pay stub, okay? Or if you want to keep it sweet and short, what else can we do, Tim?
You can always put in the deductions section, please see attached.
Yay! One of the things we come across all the time, number of members in household. List everybody who lives there. Okay,
Your sister, your mother, your grandmother, your girlfriend, your girlfriend's mother's sister, whatever kids they have there. If Uncle Joe is sleeping on the couch, you got to list Uncle Joe.
okay. And it also includes, we suggest you include the kids that are subject to the proceeding. Even if you only have them every other weekend, they're still a member of your household. Maybe not for income tax purposes, but they're still part of your household. So include them. So number of dependents, what do you think that means, Tim?
This is the number of children that you have sired, not just the ones in the proceeding that you're filing the petition for, but if you have 4 baby mamas with 4 different children, that is the number of dependents you have.
And it includes a girlfriend or a significant other that you provide support for. So like Tim was saying, if you're in a household of 10 different people and you're the only one working, well, that could be considered as a dependent because they're relying on you for financially for whatever reason.
Correct.
So your tax return might not match this, the number of dependents. Income of other members of household. Please do everybody a favor and don't say you don't know what your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend earns. I mean, really. Right, Tim? Come on.
Well, I mean, come on. The court's going to know that you're lying there. I mean, unless you are a sugar daddy and providing everything and don't really care what they're making. Okay, but let's face it, not everybody in this country is a sugar daddy. So you know what they're making, you know what they're bringing in, you know how much he or she pays for her nails. Figure it out.
You're insulting people right now. But income of other members of household. I mean, just ask them. I mean, is it horrible? Geez.
No.
Geez. Ask your mother if she's retired. What are you getting for your pension? If
you get
don't
Social
wanna
Security.
Right, and if your parent doesn't want to provide that information, perhaps you get an affidavit saying that. They don't feel comfortable disclosing it, but at least you tried, okay? So attach information for additional employers on separate pages. Look, this is important because a lot of people need to work more than one job to pay for their bills. You need to just disclose all of that. And you know what, let your lawyer or yourself make the argument that child support should only be based on one job that you're working 35 to 40 hours a week and not the 10 jobs you need to work to meet all your bills. You know, I think you're entitled to a life, and we know plenty of people, they like campers. What else, Tim, do people buy?
Oh, you got people like to buy campers, snowmobiles, 4-wheelers, ATVs, boats,
Guns. Right,
guns. People love their guns.
So, self-employment income. Most of you, if you are self-employed, you have a Schedule C. So that'll show up on your tax return, or a K-1. If you're incorporated, you'd have a business income tax return. All of those things you're going to need to disclose. Okay. Don't pretend they don't exist. That's a no-no. And don't make your attorney do a lot of work for a simple support proceeding or potentially simple support proceeding. And self-employment income could include having a MyFans. What's it called again, Tim? What's that thing that's on the internet where you can get money? I'm drawing a blank. Are you frozen? I think Tim might be frozen. It's my OnlyFans page. Yeah, an OnlyFans page. So we're going to stop the video really quickly to make sure Tim can come back on. I'm having issues. Okay, so again, when Tim went frozen on us, self-employment income, that means look, if you're doing a side job where you're depositing the money into a bank account and pretending it doesn't exist, such as getting payment through, let's see, what, Venmo? What else is out there?
Venmo, Cash App, Chime.
Zelle.
Yeah, any one of those that has, Facebook, you can do payment from Facebook, PayPal.
Right. So just remember, and what I was saying earlier, everybody seems to be on this OnlyFans page. Look, if you can make money on OnlyFans and, get people to pay you to talk to you through, I think it's the Beans app, by all means,
Yep.
that's self-employment. You're making money. All right. But around here, interest and dividend income, I've rarely seen it. That's for people who make a lot of money and they're living off their interest. So you won the lottery and you have a few million in the bank and you're living off your interest, that's where you put it. If you're living off dividends, if you don't know what that means, it's stocks. Stocks pay out dividends quarterly, monthly, however your stock plan. Again, you need to have a lot of stocks to live off of dividends. You need to include it. So don't be shy. So here, workers' comp, self-explanatory. You get a benefit sheet, put it here. Disability benefits, same thing. Unemployment, don't lie, come on. Social security benefits, veterans benefits, pensions, fellowship stipends and annuities. Stipends, teachers get stipends and fellowships. They're like add-ons to their income. Put it in there. And then SSI, same thing. You're either getting paid for your work history for Social Security disability, or you didn't have enough work history, so it's SSI. Look,
Correct.
I'm not a genius, right? I just learned that. Something you learn all the time.
Yep.
So be real when you're filling this out. Next thing, if you get public assistance, what do you get with PA, Tim?
Your cash assistant grants. So if they're helping to pay or offset the cost of your rent, if you're getting a monthly stipend toward that, if you're getting cash money every 2 weeks that they're giving you to help live off, that's public assistance. Okay, that is your cash assistance or TANF grant that you get. There are two forms. There's a family grant, and then there's a safety net for single people, which you wouldn't really need if you're, not having kids. But those are the two forms.
And you also, if you get food stamps. So most of you, if you have any of these 1 through 10 items, and let me get back to the annotation thing.
Well, one that's not listed on there too is WIC. And that's part of that public assistance programs. If you get a WIC program, if you are, you have a woman, let's say you have a girlfriend who's receiving WIC for a child in the household that you've listed on here, that is something that you have to list as an income to the home.
Right, and it could be income from other sources. So look, some of you get, what do you call it? A car.
Bonuses,
a car. Put all of that in here. That's a perk right there, perk. And put it this way, if you're getting your business, say you drive to work or they pay your internet expense, that's a reimbursed expense because it reduces your personal expenses. If your boss pays for you to go on vacation with them, it's a fringe benefit. Be as honest as possible. You want to look credible and be credible. So here, savings account. Come on, that's self-explanatory. If you have 10 savings accounts, put them on here. Checking, name of bank balance. When you fill it out, most of you have electronic banking, put it in here. Car, if there's a loan. Do you own a house? Do you own other type of real estate, land? So all of this is information you can find. Maybe not how much your house is worth, because you might need an appraisal. So put unknown if you want, or attach the assessed value, okay?
Here's your other assets, your guns, your boats, your four-wheelers, all that stuff needs to be listed.
And it might not fit, use other pages. Then G, Driver's license. If you don't drive, you don't have one. Do you have a gun permit? Right?
Yep.
Another license. You know what? If you're a nurse, you have a license.
If you're a mental health provider, if you, any of those things that require certification and licensing must be listed there.
Okay.
And there is a reason for that.
Okay. So then look, attached to this form, any information as to any additional assets. Okay. You might want to talk to your lawyer, but include everything. It's not going to hurt
And again,
you.
if it's too much information, you put my favorite words, please see attached.
Correct. So savings account balance, shoot, you can print off the last statement. There it is. Checking account, your loan information. You have these documents, whether they come to you electronically or in the mail. Just make a copy and attach it. Why waste everybody's time or your attorney's time, and you'll spend more money trying to get that information later. So better be thorough first, okay? So then this, unreimbursed deductions from income. Most people rely on their tax returns, okay? Social Security, taxes, all of this stuff.
Is already taken out.
Just, I would generally, we're not making thorough recommendations, but look, put that and say see tax return, but maintenance paid to another spouse, you're going to have to provide proof. Make sure you have the document. Maintenance paid to a spouse who's a party of the action. You know what that is. Put that there. Child support paid to another child. Put that there also. These three things, you know what they are. Okay. And this unreimbursed expenses, the court's going to want an explanation. Like if you need to have work boots or you're a police officer and they don't reimburse you for the uniform, what's the annual expense? I'm sure you know the answer, right? Never understand deducting public assistance and food stamps, Social Security income, Social Security and Medicare taxes. That's all in your pay stub. So look, now they added, attached to this form, a copy of the appropriate court order. That's just to show proof that you're paying spousal maintenance and child support, right?
Yep.
Da, da, da. So let me clicky. So, oh, look at all those little marks I made. I need to erase them quickly. So this, we created for our office a spreadsheet on Excel. If you're savvy with doing that, I suggest you create an Excel spreadsheet too. Don't you think so, Tim?
Correct.
Makes it a lot easier. But for the meantime, I would make an extra copy. You know what your rent or mortgage payment is, stick it in there. If your mortgage interest is included in your payment, include it. Just say included, see above. The real estate taxes, if it's included, say CA. Insurance on realty, it might be included in your mortgage payment, see that. But all of these expenses, you have the information, right?
Correct.
This one, charge accounts, if you have 100 credit cards, you're going to need to attach a separate page. All right.
You have school, student debt. Yes, student debt. If you have certain loans from colleges or you have those certificates you paid for, you're going to list it there.
Right. So that's on the next page. So we'll go there. Liabilities, loans, and debts. See this? They only have 3 spots. Attach to this form any additional debts. All right. Just handwrite it, type it, or get the statements. It's that easy. Clothing. I'm sure you have receipts. Clothing for what you spend on yourself, average it out. Others, your kids. Explain what you're spending money for. It could be work clothes. Laundry and dry cleaning. How much you spent, you know, if you're buying a 60 pack of pods, put it there, but don't include it as food, right?
Correct. Childcare, when you see that down, yep, that may be included already in a current order. And if it is, then write that in there. Included in current order. It may be part of a support obligation.
Right. So then here is childcare. You know what your monthly childcare is. Contributions. This is like religious, or if you pay the SPCA and you donate on a regular basis. Union dues, you know what they are. If you belong to a police union, the Teamsters, the whatever union, put the dues amount in here.
Exactly.
Right?
Entertainment, my favorite.
Go ahead, name some things.
If you go out to dinner, if you're going to the movies with, your significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, you went to a water park, maybe you went on a little vacation, it's entertaining you. Maybe you are spending money on an OnlyFans. That's entertainment.
Or your Match.com or Tinder subscription.
Yeah, anything that you're spending money that's getting your jollies, that's entertainment.
Okay. You might not want to disclose it, but hey, it's in your bank statements unless you're using other sources of income. Miscellaneous personal expenses, it's really up to you what it is. If you're a female.
Your haircuts, are you getting your nails done? Maybe you like to get your eyebrows waxed.
Or
there you
lash
go.
extensions.
Or lash extensions. Or Botox. That seems to be pretty popular now.
Or lots of filler or plastic surgery, whatever.
You can tell that I can't afford any of that.
So whatever it is, list it. And if it's a one-time expense, but it's a big expense, divide that expense by 12 and put it here. Anything else you spend on a monthly basis or weekly basis. It could be weekly therapy. It could be weekly massages. It could be facials, other just like miscellaneous. Okay, this is the one you're going to hate. Total it up. And you're going to be shocked. And you might want to revisit your budget and might realize
you're in the negative.
You're using too much credit to get here. Okay, so it might be an eye-opener. There's that Susie Orman who talks about your budget, whatever, put that here. But other expenses could be you're investing in Robinhood, Bitcoin, that's tanking right now, and anything else, okay? Or you're into brewing beer or making wine, right? Those are other things you might, and a new one, growing your own weed. So make sure you're honest.
Which could be a viable source of income.
Right, maybe, potentially. So just make sure you add everything in here. And like I said, better to be honest with it because you're going to have to sign at the bottom.
And here's the deal with these things. In all reality, if you can find a copy of the bills, a copy of the statements, a copy of the bank statements, if you have that paper trail, it is just far easier to collect it all, make copies of it, and attach it than handwriting every piece out. Because you're going to have to actually produce those forms and that paper at court anyway. The judge is going to ask for that evidence. So the sooner you can get it together and present it to the court, the easier you've made your attorney's job, right? Which is going to save you money. And you've helped streamline the court proceedings so you're not spending so much time adjourning while you're looking for them. There you go. Make sure you get the backup documentation. It will save you money.
Okay. Why wait?
Yep,
Okay.
it saves you money in the long run if you're working with an attorney. Also, it saves you time in litigation before the court. If you can get it all up front, it's less time having to adjourn. It's less time the judge has to wait for you to find it.
And if you're
makes your life easier.
Right. And if you know the other side has information and they're not being fully truthful and you self-represent, ask the court to sign subpoenas. Okay. You as a self-represented person have the same rights to gather information. So again, you need to have this signed by a notary, sign it before a notary. Obviously, put your name here, you're signing here, name here. If you have an attorney, make sure they sign off on it. Okay,
When Tina says sign it before a notary, does not mean sign it and take it to a notary. It means to sign it in front of the notary.
and make sure you have your driver's license when you
Yes.
show up to the notary, because they're not going to sign it.
Or some form of valid photo ID.
Okay, the last bit, and we're going to address it on a different little video, is the variance from the percentage. This. Okay, this is a little more complicated. This is when you're asking the court to maybe do an upward modification of support or a downward mod based upon certain factors. This you're going to need to speak to a lawyer, okay? But
And getting different other video that getting back to when I talked about why you have to list those certificates, licensing, education, all of that. We'll get into why it's so important and what it's used for in calculating the support obligation, because it will change. They do something that's called imputing the income. So that's a different video though.
right, so we'll do that on another support one. We'll address variance from the percentages, okay? So it's form 4-17 is the long form. We recommend you use this because it provides the most information. And you're going to want to use this if you're going to have a support proceeding. All right.
If
so
if you use the short form, just understand you're going to have to come back and do this anyway.
Correct. So Tina and Tim, we are going to be out, and we'll see you again tomorrow, right?
Correct.
So now I got to figure out how to turn the video off because we're brand spanking new to this. So here we are again, and goodbye.
Goodbye.